Hey, good morning. I'm Paige Browning. It's Friday. This is Seattle Now. This week, a new poll says Governor Bob Ferguson is pretty unpopular right now. Sound transit has gone to the dogs, furry friends will soon be allowed on light rail, and Lake Union's being swarmed by paddleboarders looking to rave. Transportation expert Alex Hudson and stranger reporter Nathalie Graham are here to break down the week. But first, let's get you caught up. King County's trying to make space in its animal shelters. So today through the end of August, adoptions are free at county shelters. People just have to buy a $30 pet license. Seattle Humane, Paws, and other local shelters are also running the deal. King County did this last year and adopted out 500 dogs and cats. The roar of the Blue Angels practicing this week was your reminder. The Seafair Weekend Festival kicks off today and runs through Sunday at Genesee Park along Lake Washington. There's live music, food, hydro races, and of course, the Blue Angels Air Show. They'll perform today, Saturday, and Sunday right around 3:35 in the afternoon. Entrance to the festival today is free, by the way. And if you haven't visited a national park recently, here's a great reason to go. Entrance is free on Monday. The National Park Service is celebrating the 5th anniversary of the Great American Outdoors Act, which funded nearly $10 billion for repairs and restoration at national parks. After Monday, there are 2 more free days this year, National Public Lands Day in September and Veterans Day in November. Check back for more headlines on tonight's episode of Seattle Now. It's Friday again, and as a true sign of summer, the Blue Angels have been roaring overhead. Transportation expert Alex Hudson is here. How are you, Alex?
Doing well.
And Nathalie Graham is here. She's a reporter at The Stranger. Nathalie, how are you?
I'm good. Not as sweaty as I expected.
Okay.
But it's warm out. It's summer.
It's summer. Okay, we're going to dive right into the big story this week. From lovable chess-playing attorney general to unpopular governor. 6 months into his term, a new Cascade PBS Elway poll has Bob Ferguson at the lowest job rating of any Washington governor since 1993. Shout out Governor Mike Lowry. Cascade and Elway polled 403 people earlier this month. 43% considered themselves Democratic, 19% Republican, and 38% independent. So the disappointment here, it's wide-ranging. Cascade PBS says some were angry that Ferguson signed off on new taxes. Others say he focused too much on cutting spending. Some said he wasn't doing enough to stand up to the Trump administration. Others said he focused on Trump too much. Some said he fell too deeply in line with Democrats. Others said he was too moderate. Okay, there's a lot to be said here. How do you think Bob Ferguson and his team are responding to this? How do you spin it?
I think you focus on the problems. If it was me, I would go, well, yeah, I can't make all the people happy because we've got these big problems that don't have easy solutions to them. And it's not as simple as just saying, oh, I'm going to do this one or oh, I'm going to do that one. We live in a complicated political place, the state of Washington. Mm-hmm. And it's real easy when you live in, Capitol Hill to think everybody's thinking the same way about the same stuff.
For sure.
As simply is just not the case.
Just step outside even Seattle, let alone go past Issaquah or North Bend.
Yeah, it gets real different real fast. Mm-hmm. And so if I was the governor, that's what I would be saying. It's like, because I'm focused on real solutions to these tough problems, I'm, driving to what's right, not what's popular. That's what I would be saying if I was them.
You should run for office. Mm-hmm. I would be surprised if he said anything here or his team because it's 6 months into his first term. There's a lot of term left. And maybe Bob can step up and be that anti-Trump warrior that he was as attorney general.
We're only 6 months in, and he hasn't actually spoken to the media in a news conference format very many times. So we might not really hear anything. Bob was touted as a chess master during his campaign. Could there just be some 3D chess going on? Is this strategy intentional?
I don't know. I thought on the campaign trail that possibly this was some sort of strategy because the impression and I say we as Washington voters and as a journalist who has covered politics in Washington state, I assumed Bob Ferguson, who was this anti-Trump attorney general, I just assumed that that extended to the rest of his politics. So I put this progressive sensibility on Bob. And on the campaign trail, we saw Bob presenting as this more centrist Democrat, sort of moderate. He refused to take a hard line on police reform. He actually sided with getting more police. And I believe he was endorsed by some pretty moderate people. I know former Seattle Police Chief Carmen Best endorsed him, and that raised my eyebrows a little bit.
So we started to see this during the campaign.
Yeah, and I thought that was a campaign trail strategy to attract more moderates. Silly of me, perhaps, to not realize that that would extend into his governorship.
The attorney general's job is to fight against bad things that are happening. That's a different job than being the executive of a giant state bureaucracy.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't expect him to do the job in the same way. I also, he had a job before he was the attorney general. He was a King County council person. And you can look back at that track record and some of this moderate centrism, that's not new. That was there before, too. And so I think some of it is a little bit about what people are paying attention to and people are paying attention to in this media cycle, right? Like what's big, what's flashy, what's hot. And so I did think it was very interesting in the piece about the poll that they were talking about the sort of consistent theme that people just feel like they just actually don't know what's happening. And so they just sort of see the headlines and they see the problems and they see cuts or they see new taxes, but they're not necessarily connected to a grander vision. The grand vision isn't I'm going to fight this bad man. This grander vision is I'm going to run this state to deliver essential services and make progress on the things that are valuable to us.
That's a much less catchy phrase or tagline than I'm going to fight this bad man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's way more nuanced. And so, I would suggest that they figure out a way to talk about that vision a little bit more and more clearly, like you talked about getting in front of the media more, getting in front of the voters more, and reintroducing yourself in your new role and the thing that it is that you want to do.
I think it's interesting, too, in his decade-plus service as Attorney General of Washington, he was a complete darling. And The Stranger, Nathalie, where you work, The Stranger's March 2017 cover called Ferguson an American heartthrob and the lawyer we need right now. There were hearts on this. I still remember this cover. Oh, yeah. Nathalie, do you think The Stranger would print something like this again?
So this was slightly before my time, but when I started at The Stranger in 2018, and that ethos, that kind of middle school crush joke on Bob Ferguson, that carried through in my time. And so I would refer to him as Bobby Ferg and be it would just be like batting eyelashes. Like that was the joke. No, we would not.
He's a dreamy chess player, cat owner.
He was a little nerd, and he was standing up to the big bad. Yeah, now the picture's a little clearer. It's a little less easy to gush about what's going on in the governorship. If we did have to do a cover like that, we would absolutely pick AG Nick Brown, who
former Survivor contestant. But still in the role of the person whose name is suing the Trump administration.
It's easy. It's easy to fawn over that if your attorney general is doing the work to protect us against what's going on at the federal level.
And Ferguson's not the first politician to struggle to complete campaign promises or to keep his constituents happy in the first term. But it's still early in his term. What makes Ferguson's case any different? So many people are unhappy with him right now. What's making it different for him? Is there more anger because of how well regarded he was as AG?
I think that there is more anger because people are angrier. The temperature, the tone, as they were talking in the article, reflecting back on where other governors were in their first 6 months, and we just live in a very different political time now. So the thing about polling is and I don't want to be one of those people who's you can't trust polls unless they say what I want them to, is that you don't really know. Are people mad because they think he's not like it said here, some people are mad because he's not taxing enough. Some people are mad because he's doing too many cuts. Like most people are really not paying as close of information to the policies as certainly us nerds are. And people are just like quicker to be angrier and disappointed with people in government right now because of the hellscape, I guess is the technical term that we're living in.
There's unease. There is stress.
There's huge stress, and they are looking for someone to say, I got this, and we're not going to let these bad things happen, and I am going to stand up to this guy. And when you're suing somebody, that's a whole lot different than trying to figure out how to pay for programs when the federal government is pulling back billions of dollars worth of Medicaid, right? And so you just have a different positionality, a different way to win, and there's just totally different expectations for people right now.
Well, only 32% of voters rated Ferguson's first 6 months as excellent or good. That was 8 points lower than Inslee's first 6 months. On to our next topic. Seattle's light rail has gone to the dogs. The King County Council voted last week to request new rules from Sound Transit that allows dogs on leashes on Link Light Rail, Sounder commuter trains, and Sound Transit express buses. Right now, you can only bring a dog if it's a service animal or in a pet carrier. Government quote of the year may go to Sound Transit Board Chair Dave Summers, who said, "It's time for walkies," in a recent committee discussion.
I hate that he said that. Who here's a dog owner?
I am.
Do you say walkies?
I haven't used that word before this show.
Okay, me either.
Do you see pets on transit in Seattle very often? And when you notice, does it impact your ride?
Okay, I'm going to cook.
Alex, here we go.
I'm ready to cook.
Transportation expert, let's go.
One, I love to see pets on transit, and like the weirder, the better. Like I see rabbits on transit, not infrequently. I have seen parrots on transit. There was a person that I saw once with a like big iguana on public transit. Not so many cats, but I definitely see dogs.
Cats would hate it.
Cats are not into that.
They are pro public transportation.
They are,
but they
they vote for transit. Yeah.
They're a little agoraphobic.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I think, yeah, absolutely. It's a great idea. My one issue, though, is why we haven't branded this as Hound Transit, because I really feel like this has been right here. I know.
It's time for Hound Transit. Ride Hound Transit.
Yes.
Okay, they should pay you for that.
I agree.
It's a freebie because I love it so much.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And we talked, I don't know, shows and shows ago about the Sound Transit merch. Imagine the merch that could come out of Hound Transit.
Yes. Well, they have little dog collars now.
That's true. That's true.
So
Could be.
you do whatever you want, Nathalie. You do whatever you want.
I've probably seen some of those on the light rail too.
Yeah, it was very interesting though. One of my favorite moments of this was they made this table so bureaucratic, and sometimes bureaucracy can just be so funny.
I love it.
And there's this table, and it's all of the different transit agencies and like what their policies are. So it's this very organized policy analysis about pets on transit, and it's just funny. Like, do they have to pay fare or not? Do they have to ride in a bag or not? Can they sit on a seat or not? Which is like, obviously not. I draw the line there.
Mm-hmm. You do?
Of course.
Well, what if it's just a cute,
they got
cute
little bottoms?
Just
cute little bottoms?
I'm just making sure. I'm just testing how far you want to take this. You're going to shoo the Yorkie right off the toy poodle. No.
Mm-hmm. Laps are fine.
Laps are fine. Okay.
That's your pants.
Exactly.
Not my pants.
But as you're saying, so back in May when this rule change was proposed, the Urbanist wrote a whole breakdown of the pet policies of different transit agencies. It's different everywhere. So maybe the need for this overly detailed bureaucracy table on the rules. So some agencies allow dogs if they're in carriers. Some, they allow them on a leash. But if you're on Everett Transit, your dog has to be muzzled.
Oh.
And it depends on where you're riding, but some don't allow your dog to sit in a seat. It's notable that on King County Metro buses, dogs are not required to be in a carrier or even have a leash or a muzzle, but a large dog has to pay fare, I guess because they would take up a seat or something. Did you even know that there were rules for dogs on the buses or light rail? And are people following them?
I assume Alex knew.
I did know this. I'm not a dog owner, but I was watching my mom's dachshund once, and I had to take him on Hound Transit.
Name?
Weenie. Very, very clever there. Weenie, and I had to ride out to Redmond on the 545. And I'm not proud to admit it, but I was asked by the operator, like, what's up with that dog? And I just picked him up and carried him in my arms, and I said, he's with me. And then I just got where I needed to go. So I assumed that there were rules and that maybe I was taking liberties with them.
He just said, what's up with that dog? And that's as far as it went.
That's right. It's a very Seattle
Don't ask
way.
permission, beg for forgiveness.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
One. Yeah. What about you, Natalie? Did you know about these things? What's your experience been?
I did not know about these things. I have seen my fair share of dogs on the light rail. I have not seen more exotic pets, and that I think is a disservice to me. Mm-hmm. I think it's a good thing to just across the board be like, yes, bring your dogs on transit. Not because I want to see more of your dogs. I mean, I don't mind it, but I think having a dog, and I'm sorry if this is unpopular, is an inherently suburban thing. Okay?
Whoa.
I'm sorry. Because hear me out.
I'll hear you
I'm
out.
hearing.
My dog's listening. Go
and
on.
This is not true for everybody, but I do think if you have a dog, you yearn for more space. It is the manifest destiny of pet ownership.
Wow.
And this is not all dog owners, but I think a lot of dog owners also, they lean toward the car because the off-leash dog parks.
Oh, right.
They're not accessible.
They're far away.
Yeah, they're not. I know that is the impetus for this new policy is because of this Marymore Dog Park.
That's right.
But are those the people who are going to be taking the light rail across the floating bridge?
We're bringing new takes on dog ownerships right
I know.
here.
I'm sorry. But I do think the most suburban thing is telling people they can't do something. And so by allowing it, we are going to welcome these people onto public transit, the heartbeat of the city, the pulse. And so we are going to urbanize the dog owners.
Wow.
And not that you aren't. I know you are a city-dwelling populace, but I have thoughts on you.
No, I get it. I mean, my dog would cower at just looking at a light rail station. So I can't. So she is mostly a car rider. I get that. You have a point.
I have many.
You have many.
And I'm saving some of them for myself because I think the public radio audience will not like them.
I got to move us on to our next topic. We'll take walkies later.
Oh, goodness gracious. I'm going to walk you right out of here.
I'm going to walk you right out of here. It's summer in Seattle. No better time to get onto the water. I love to kayak or swim a little bit. Cold plunge. Patricia Murphy's not here this week, but her preferred summer activity is paddleboarding. It's not just Trish. The Seattle Times says huge crowds of paddleboarders are paddling on Lake Union to catch a Seattle paddle rave. It's what it sounds like, an opportunity to sup, stand up paddleboard, and listen to house music in a big group on the water. This paddle rave started in early July with about 125 people showing up, and then it picked up even more steam from there. Is the paddle rave your scene? Or at the very least, does the combo make sense? Paddleboarding and house music.
It is not my scene, mostly because I don't own a paddleboard. If I had space in my apartment, I would. Because
you could rent one, but okay, we'll go with this.
Too logistically challenged. I'm very much of an impulsive get me in the water person.
Sure.
I'm not planning much.
Yeah.
And music is good. Getting outdoors is good. I support the activity. I think it is a very Seattle activity.
So much.
Because,
yes.
And you know what it is? It increases the equity of the lake. Because if you're looking at a summer evening, you're seeing the sailboats out there. You're seeing the boats.
Beautiful.
If you're me, you're longing for that. You're like, ooh, wouldn't it be nice to be on a boat? But now the boaters have to navigate around the rest of Seattle.
Yes,
we are in a mass in the water.
We're in a mass listening to EDM.
No shade to the boats. I would love to go on one if anyone wants to invite me. But yeah, and also a daytime rave is so Seattle because we are not a nightlife city.
In a lot of ways, this does feel Seattle and sort of like a visualization of South Lake Union in a way that I can't quite explain.
Listen,
Alex?
Not to be a hater, but I have never once looked at Lake Union and thought to myself, I want to put my body in there because that thing is a pothole. Like, how is that not just like a giant pothole filled with the runoff of 800,000 people?
And there's a bunch of stuff at the bottom.
I just feel like this is one of those things where, like, I'm like, okay, everybody chase your bliss, and I'm not out here to yuck your yum or whatever. But I don't know. I'm like, seems really loud and also dirty and also like getting in the way.
I don't know. I'm not afraid of Lake Union, but
I'm not
maybe
afraid of it. I'm just not choosing it. There's a lot of other.
I might be the unique one
Not
here.
fresh.
I lived in East Lake for several years. I loved being right there, and I would occasionally kayak out. So I'm not actually in the water.
See, that's the difference.
That's the
That
difference,
is the
though.
difference.
Kayaking, absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
But maybe
fair.
the paddleboarders aren't getting in the water because they are afloat.
I think to both of what you are saying, there is a lot of Seattle-ness to this, which is why I say it almost is reminiscent, like a pure visualization to me of like South Lake Union, where it's like tech, but it's still Seattle, but it's like trying new things, some of them being weird things like raving on a paddleboard. The Seattle Times says a July 18th paddle rave brought an estimated 1,000 people to the lake there to listen to music and paddleboard, some who were first-time paddleboarders who just love to rave. And they're like, oh, I'm going to rave on the lake? Great. And some people just looking to make friends. Okay, Nathalie, you are an expert in Seattle's niche communities. Does this event picking up steam surprise you?
No. Yeah.
1,000 people.
1,000 is surprising. But yes, you are correct. I have a column in The Stranger called Playdate about Seattle subcultures and hobbies. And what I have found, and this is not going to be news to anybody, but we are just a city that is motivated socially through activity. We crave structure to a hang.
There's got to be something to do.
The one thing that can melt the Seattle freeze is a structured activity. And get your paddleboard, go to the lake, enjoy the sun in these precious summer months, listen to loud music so you might not have to talk to anybody.
Oh, this is genius.
This is the antisocial Seattleites' dream.
This is how you meet the one.
And you might get tan.
Tan, and also
You get this now, Alex.
sweet content. This seems like this is a very content.
Oh, you
That's
know, there's
why
pictures
there were
all over
1,000
the
people.
gram. Yeah. I think you make a good point, though.
Yeah.
We do just crave structure. I mean, I have started playing adult recreational sports. I have met more people doing that than I have met in like all the years previous. Just new people, just because I signed up to a thing that was structured.
It's true. And it's helpful, especially, well, actually throughout the year. But the summer gets hectic. You feel this urgency to fill every moment with being out of your house. At least I do.
Yeah. The
and
solar scarcity.
exactly. It's exhausting.
A lot
Can't
of
wait
pressure.
for fall.
This is why my big goal of the year is to just like read a bunch of books.
There you
So
go.
I can just do that wherever.
Ideally on a paddleboard.
On the shore of Lake Union. and I will say this is not the only group that gathers on the lake. There's also the long-running duck dodge once a week on Lake Union, where sailboats do a little friendly race and then they gather in the middle at the end. And it's pretty cool, actually.
I am trying to get on a duck dodge boat for my next column. If anyone listening would like to invite me on, please, I would love to write about it in a very thoughtful way. Wow. And fun. An emphasis on fun.
The
I'll
invite
come
is there.
too.
Yeah, Alex can be there. And Paige,
All right.
and Paige, do you know anybody? No.
I might. We'll find a
we'll
way.
connect.
But this is the official ask for Nathalie and Alex, and maybe me, but definitely you two.
Not
for
next
duck dodge.
Tuesday, though, because I got to cover the primary.
In a couple Tuesdays, duck
Yeah, I'm
dodge
out
on
of
Lake
town.
Union
I'm out of town.
with Nathalie and Alex. All right, we're going to leave it there. Alex Hudson is a local transportation expert, and Nathalie Graham is a reporter at The Stranger. Thank you, Nathalie.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Appreciate you listening to Seattle Now. Today's episode was produced by Vaughn Jones, probably out there pumping up a paddleboard somewhere. It was edited by Caroline Chamberlain Gomez. Our production team also includes Andy Hurst, Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, and Patricia Murphy. Greg Kramer does our theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Paige Browning. See you soon.